Hello and welcome to the first of a series of videos I'm making demonstrating a mod I am creating called BWCSM Combat Support Menu. In these videos I'll show you how to use the mod as a player as well as a mission maker. This modification is for armor free and is based around giving players an enhanced control of AI assets during a mission. The mod will in its final version also include some mission maker tools for quickly generating scenarios. In this video we'll look at how to set up your key bindings, how to place the main module, as well as looking at some of the functionality of the menu itself. Please note that everything you see in these videos, as well as the mod at the moment, is currently in beta and is likely to change. It's been released at the moment so that people can give me feedback and help track down any bugs there are remaining. There will be more stuff added to this, and I plan a few UI upgrades to the menu itself at some point in the future. If you do find any bugs, you can report them to me currently by accessing our Reddit page, which you can get if you are on the main menu of Armor by clicking the mods icon. You'll see there's a few links in the description box as well as on the left. Click those, that'll take you to the website, the Reddit website. If you can read the right hand side column for information about posting bugs, that'll help me keep it organised, as Reddit is obviously not the best format for this kind of feedback. You can also find a link to the YouTube channel where I'll be posting all the media I make for this mod. So, let's begin! To access the Combat Support Menu UI itself, or edit your key bindings, you first of all need to place the main Combat Support Menu module. You can do this by pressing F7, double-clicking on the map, changing the category to Combat Support, and then the module here is BWCSM. Pressing OK would obviously place the module, and that would allow all players to have access to the UI itself. Once you're in the menu, certain features are limited by the options you set here. For example, helicopter transport. The default settings here are that you need one of these laser designators to access the menu. And if that class name's found in your inventory in-game, you can then control the helicopters of your faction. If I deleted everything in this box here and left it blank, that would mean that everybody could control the helicopters of their faction and have access to the helicopter transport menu. Similarly, we have the same options for CAS, supply drops and indirect fire. The one that's slightly different is the GPS items, and they are features of the menus themselves. For example, the artillery menu has a GPS button. If you press that, it'll give you a 6-figure grid reference of where you currently are, and that just saves you closing down the menu, opening up your GPS, and getting the same information anyway. If you want everyone to be able to access that, just leave it blank once again. One thing to remember is you can use your own class names, obviously, but it's in array format, so you do it class name, comma, and the class names must be class names of items, like GPSs, or radios, or weapons, like binoculars, or rifles. You can't use the class name of a magazine or vehicle. I'm not going to spend too long explaining the rest of these options, as they're pretty self-explanatory if you read the tooltips. However, who hears/reads the radio messages, you can either set this to people who have one of these access items defined above, or everybody on the faction of the asset that's been tasked with a mission. And that just allows you to simulate whether only commanders are hearing the radio messages, or whether every player is going to be informed of different taskings given to assets. Maximum distribution of artillery, that's how far you can change that slider to distribute artillery in the target area. You can make that number larger or smaller based on your own needs for your mission. Global mission pop-up, so this is when a new task is assigned by the modules. For example, the crew rescue module. If your crew crashes their plane or is shot down and survives, with this module you're given a task, a new mission, and this just determines whether the hint pops up in the middle of your screen, and that's just to allow mission makers to choose their own aesthetics. If they like the pop-up that appears, if they don't like the pop-up, you can turn that off. Similarly, grass settings, clicks of the mission. Can players turn grass off through the setting menu? Yes or no? And the last thing is like a garbage collector. What's the maximum number of wrecks that can be created or generated by the combat support menu? Default number is 15. If a 16th wreck is created, the first wreck to be created is then deleted, and that just helps with performance. The reason I've done that is because not all of the vehicles are completely destroyed every time. They're considered wrecks by the combat support menu module. For crew and dead bodies, I'm going to assume most people use the built-in system that's in the game, the garbage collector. So, pressing OK, and then preview. The last thing we need to do is set our key bindings, and we can do that by pressing Escape, Configure, Controls, Configure Add-ons. Make sure this box at the top here is set to BWCSM Combat Support Menu Key Bindings. The only one you really need to concern yourself with is the Open menu button itself. By default, this is your Apps menu button. The rest are shortcuts to various other menus. To edit, double-click, choose your key, press OK. The last thing to note then, if we press the button I've just assigned, that opens up the menu. Any button you press in here is remembered. So next time you go into the game, let's say you've set your settings to I don't want to hear radio messages because they're annoying. You can do that in the settings menu. That will be remembered on your profile, and next time you go into game you won't need to reset that option. If we look at the helicopter transport menu here on the left, if I press these buttons up here, the minimize and exit, it'll take me back to the desktop. If I press the home button here on the bottom left, that'll take me back to the desktop. If I press the power button, that'll close the thing down, and if I reopen it again with my key binding, we'll go back to the same menu we were at when we closed it down. Obviously you can press escape to exit this menu, and also all the UIs move around. In the bottom right here you're going to get the date and time. And that's basically it for the introduction. The next video is going to be setting up the helicopter transport and supply missions. The video after that will be the artillery, and once I've released the CAS system I'll do a video for that. On the main menu here on the left, the white buttons are your combat support menus. On the right here, the black buttons are your apps. So we have a calculator which works how you would expect. We have a notepad here, which is a bit of a work in progress, but it'll save information if you want to. We have a settings menu, again another work in progress. You can change grass settings here, view distances, as well as play music, and you can also get some general sound settings. And the last one is the admin menu, but currently that's disabled because it's a work in progress. Just a quick reminder, if you do find any bugs, remember this is a work in progress. Please report them in the way we discussed at the beginning of the video. Any